What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. So a topic of discussion I've been seeing a lot in the media after Baker Mayfield's first game with the Rams, where he leads them on an amazing comeback in the fourth quarter, is who is to blame for Baker Mayfield's lack of success in Carolina. Now, some of that shine has worn off of Baker Mayfield now that he lost to the Packers in the second game with the Rams. He didn't play very well, but it's still something I saw a lot of. Why didn't Baker work out in Carolina? Who was to blame? What happened? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my answer to that early on, like right now in the video, instead of making you wait until the end of the video to tell you who I think is to blame. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I will put 70% of the blame on Baker and 30% on the Panthers offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo. Now, the reason I put most of the blame on Baker is even when there were receivers open and the line protected Baker well, he was very inaccurate and he didn't handle clean pockets very well. When the pocket was clean, Baker didn't manage it very well. And when receivers are open, he was just inaccurate. Those two things you can't blame on anyone except Baker. It's not like he was always having to throw into tight windows or that he was having people at his feet all the time and that he was constantly under pressure. That is not the case. The Panthers offensive line has been pretty decent this year, maybe even pretty good for a lot of this season. He had decent protection. He had decent enough skill talent, especially early in the season before the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey. He had the requisite talent to be at least a competent quarterback, to put up decent numbers, and he didn't. He struggled to complete 50% of his passes. He struggled to pass for more than 150 yards in a game. He was inaccurate. He didn't manage the pocket very well. He was all around just bad. So given that he played that badly, it's hard to put any of the blame or the majority of the blame on anyone except Baker. Now, yeah, Ben McAdoo is not a good offensive coordinator. He is just not. I think his scheme is very bland. There's not a lot of creativity to it. I don't think he utilizes the talent that he has very well. But again, he was able to scheme open some receivers. He was able to give Baker Mayfield, Lion was able to give Baker Mayfield time in the pocket, and Baker Mayfield couldn't take advantage of those openings, of those chances, of open receivers, time in the pocket. He wasn't able to take advantage of those things. He just played badly. Ben McAdoo still does deserve some of the blame. And why I think Ben McAdoo deserves about 30% of the blame is I don't think he ever made too much of an effort to adjust his system for Baker. But we got to understand why that is. Ben McAdoo had put his system in place months before the Panthers traded for Baker Mayfield. He put that system in place with the idea of his quarterback being either Sam Darnold or Matt Corral. Because the Panthers already had Sam Darnold on the roster. They drafted Matt Corral in the third round of the draft. Ben McAdoo knew, he thought these are the quarterbacks I have to work with. I'm going to build my system around them. And there have been some reports that Ben McAdoo has never been high on Baker even before coming to work with the Panthers. So maybe that plays into it. I don't really believe he ever made a real effort to build his system to Baker's strengths. And while, yes, that is wrong of an offensive coordinator, any coach, you should look at the talent you have and build your system to the talent you have. But Baker, again, even when he was given opportunities to succeed, he just didn't through his own fault. Through everything, I don't say everything being on him, but again, if the receiver's open and the line protects you and you don't make the throw, that's on the quarterback. You can't blame anyone else for that. The coach called a play where a receiver was open. The receiver ran a good enough route, gained separation, the line gave you protection, time in the pocket, gave you time to make the throw, and Baker couldn't do it a lot of the time. That has to be on Baker. Also, got to bring up just the sheer amount of batted balls he was having at the line. They say that it's the offensive lineman's job to knock down the D lineman's hands, and I agree with that to an extent. But when you have so many batted passes for one particular quarterback, it's kind of hard to make an argument that it's not that quarterback's fault. Because when PJ Walker came in, we didn't see nearly as many batted passes. With Sam Darnold, we didn't see nearly as many batted passes. With playing with the same offensive lineman. So that's got to be Baker. That some of that has to be on Baker. Now, not all of them, I'm sure some of them were on the offensive lineman, but there has to be something with the way Baker throws the ball, with where his release point is, with the way he manages the pocket, something. But you have to blame Baker for that also. So, yes, the blame isn't all on Baker. I think it is split between, Baker and Ben McAdoo, and maybe some to Matt Rule if you want to blame Matt Rule, which he probably does deserve some of it. Maybe if you want to go 60% Baker, 10% or 20% Matt Rule, 20% Ben McAdoo. I would agree with that split also. But I do believe the majority of the blame does have to go on Baker because he just simply didn't play well when you try to evaluate him in a vacuum, which is very hard to do in football because every position is so dependent on other positions. But when you look at the opportunities he had and how he just failed to capitalize on them, you do have to blame Baker. So I wish the guy all the success in the world with the Rams. I like Baker, as I've said in other videos. I like his personality. I have nothing against him. I didn't want the Panthers to trade for him. I didn't want the Panthers to trade for him because I think his skill set is limited. I don't find him to be special at anything. But just as a person, his personality, I like the guy. So I hope he succeeds with the Rams. But there were reasons why he didn't work out with the Panthers. And a lot of those reasons were just central to what Baker is as a quarterback. That's a lot for you in this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go hit that thumbs up. If you're sub inclined, subscribe and leave a comment. I respond to almost everything. And I'll see you guys in the next one.